I remember when I invested into my first mentor back in 2016, and I'll never forget what he asked me. He said, Dan, what would it be like if you hit your first $10,000 month? And I remember saying to him, I was like, fuck, like that'll be a dream come true. Only to get there a few years later and not actually be happy because now I wanted the 20K month and the 50K month and the 100K month. And transparently, one thing that I've really struggled with over the years is dealing with the goalposts consistently moving and not actually allowing myself and giving myself permission to be happy. So rewind about 3 years ago, I was living in New Zealand. I was running a high-ticket consulting business, doing about $260,000 a month, and everything just felt mundane. From the outside looking in, everyone thought I was crushing it. You know, I'd be flexing these Stripe screenshots. I was such a noob at the time, and we had very rapid growth inside of that company. We went from 60 grand a month to 260 grand a month within 12 months. It was insane. And every single day in New Zealand, it just felt like the same old shit. Like I'd wake up, I'd go straight to the coffee machine, make my coffee, work from like 6 a.m. all the way to 5 p.m. I'd go to the gym, I'd have dinner, I'd go to sleep, wake up, and I'd just repeat the process over and over again. And at the time, I thought it was living in New Zealand that was what was causing me to feel so unfulfilled and so down and everything just feeling so mundane. So my best friend and I, we had a conversation and I said to him, man, I was like, man, I'm so unhappy. I said, like, something needs to change. And so within 24 hours, I booked a one-way ticket to Bali, Indonesia, and I've been here now for nearly 3 years. And when I got here, I thought that it would make all of my problems go away. You know, the sunny days, the riding on the bike through the wind, it was just incredible. But I realized that it wasn't actually the country that was causing so much unhappiness inside of my mind. It was the actual business that I was running. And one of the biggest lessons that I've learned over those years is that the business model that you choose has such a massive impact to the level of freedom, to the level of happiness, to the level of fulfillment, or lack thereof, that you're going to experience inside of your world. And even though I was generating $260,000 a month at the time, I was only taking home about 20% profit. And I don't know about you, but taking home 20% profit on a $260,000 a month business with 12 staff, 136 clients that all want a piece of you 24/7, and having so much stress and complexity inside of the model, it's not for me. I would much rather scale a business doing 30K a month, you know, take home 80% profit, just bootstrap it by myself, small amount of clients, lean team, I'll be happy. And so I basically decided to sell that high-ticket consulting company, and I went in a completely different direction and built a subscription offer. And that subscription offer, within a 12-month period, we were doing $100,000 a month at 70% profit with a team of 2 and only working 2 hours a day. And I don't say this to brag, but basically just to hopefully give you some perspective around the fact that if you are chasing a number, if you are chasing a specific number inside of your Stripe account, or you're chasing a specific revenue target, what I've realized is that that is not going to make you happy. Happiness comes from the internal. If you hit a $50,000 a month or a $100,000 a month, you think right now if you get there, that you're going to be happy. But guess what happens? As you get there, your perspective will change. You're going to have different problems. And guess what? That $100,000 a month, it now becomes normalized. I remember in New Zealand, I bought a Maserati. And for the first 2 weeks, I was like, this is incredible. It felt so good driving this thing. And then after those 2 weeks passed, it just became normalized. And it really makes you realize that shit, like materialistic things and chasing these revenue numbers, those things aren't going to make you happy if you are not happy within yourself. So a little bit of a rant there, but basically that's what got me over to Bali, Indonesia. I thought that it was the country that I was unhappy with, when in reality, I had to experience coming to Bali to understand that it was actually the business and the model that I was running. And I actually had to go through that entire process of selling it, dealing with all the shit that came with it, to then transitioning into a subscription offer to finally feel a sense of purpose, a sense of freedom, a sense of happiness, and a sense of fulfillment inside of my life. And I can tell you right now that I've been through both models. I've done the high ticket consulting model, charging $20,000 per client, and I've done the subscription model, charging $97 a week per client. I will never ever go back to a high ticket model again, simply because I am obsessed with recurring revenue. I'm obsessed with fun, freedom, fulfillment, operating with a lean team. It just feels very right for me. And it might not be right for you, who knows? But one thing I noticed about myself is that a subscription offer, it brings me so much happiness, so much joy, and so much fulfillment because my head can actually rest on the pillow, knowing that I'm taking home 70% profit margin, knowing that I'm operating with a small team, with less complexity, with less stress. My pillow feels softer at night, and I'm pocketing more cash at the exact same time. And if there's one piece of advice that I can give to you, is that if you are chasing a revenue number, if you are stuck inside of this, high ticket business model where you're dealing with massive teams, sales call funnels, you've got tons of clients that are expecting the world because you're charging them $10,000, $20,000, maybe test out bolting on a subscription offer onto your high ticket offer and see how you enjoy it. I can guarantee you'll make more profit with the subscription offer in comparison to the high ticket offer. And who knows, maybe you're enjoying the subscription so much, you might want to completely transition, or you might want to have that subscription offer to act as a bolt-on so that you can ascend people from the subscription offer into your high ticket offer as well. So bit of a ramble, bit of a rant today, but I just wanted to come on and share my kind of lessons around chasing the money, my lessons around moving country and why I felt like it was the country that was shit, but it was actually the business that I was in, and kind of my journey going from being stuck inside of a prison business with low margins, a ton of complexity, to now being in a business that brings me a ton of fulfillment, a ton of freedom, and a ton of happiness. So that's all from me today. Take care, and we'll chat to you very soon.